I'm Brenda Lansdowne, Brenda Sue, and today we're going to talk about putting paint on brass stampings. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start with clean degreased stampings. These are American-made brass stampings. These are what I call flower power stampings. You may have seen pieces like this in the pins that were really popular back in the 60s. You find them maybe in a flea market or antique shop, or maybe you remember your mom having them, your grandma. These kind of stampings, they must be degreased. When you first purchase them, whether from me or whoever you get them from, you've got to degrease them because they're made on big presses where they use a lot of machine oil. So you got to get that off of there or you're not going to have success with you doing paint, patina, whatever you're putting on top of them. Get them clean. Soapy water in a sink, let them set for a while, scrub them up with a scrub brush, rinse them real good, and you should be ready to go. Or you can get a degreaser from a dollar store, something inexpensive, but you've got to degrease them and get them clean. So I started with a clean stamping like this. And then I painted it. And now it's painted. So next I'll show you about how I did that. So anyway, now we're ready to do something with our brass stampings. We've got them all cleaned and degreased like this. This was the clean degreased one. So now we want to paint it, okay? So I just used, whatever you have. Now I had some of this Jacquard Lumiere. I think that's how you say it. It has a little bit of mica in it. It's really pretty. And then I had some of these Adirondack paint dabbers. I like smooch inks too. They look like nail polish. I didn't use them in this case, but it works. Another one that I liked really good is this Posh Rainbow ink. You can do that. Or you can do alcohol inks. But they're kind of a whole different animal, so let's not talk about them right now. Let's stick with the acrylics. I used acrylic paint, okay? So just to show you how I did it, really simple. See if I can get this off without taking that, yeah, right here. Here's where you want to take it off. Okay, this kind of got like a sponge thing in it, and I just pound it, Just pound it on, and it really makes kind of a cool, interesting texture. And I don't have my paintbrush here because I think it's still in the sink from yesterday. But I would probably take my paintbrush and kind of like stroke that out. Maybe I would put a little blue over onto that or float a little bit of this Lumiere onto it or whatever. I like, kind of a tie-dye effect, but, you do whatever pleases you, But that's how you get it on there. And then, when it dries, it looks like this. Kind of pretty, huh? Just, here's a real pretty blue one that I did. Okay, here's some smaller inside sections, kind of a peachy color that I did. Here's a little sprig stamping in the raw brass that I did with it's kind of got some green and blue and yellow, real cool muted tie-dye. And then like, here's this one. This one I did with a real cool tie-dye effect, all different colors swirled into it. This one I haven't resined yet. So maybe I'll use this one to show you how I resin it, because after it dries, what you want to do is take it and get your clear acrylic sealer, matte, not shiny, matte. This is Plaid, but whatever brand is fine. We do not carry this site because I don't ship aerosol. But you can get this anywhere, believe me. You go downtown, even if you live in a teeny tiny little town like I do, you're going to find this. Maybe even the dollar store, I don't know. But it's not going to be hard to find. And you want to spray it. Spritz it front and back. And let it dry real good for a couple hours maybe. And then now it's nice and sealed and you're ready to put your resin layer on. So here's my resin. And as you see, I am a big fan of ice resin. This is a newer product that we just started to carry. It was developed about 10 years ago by Susan Leonard Casmer, who is a well-known teacher and a fabulous artist. And I learned how to use this from her when I took a class at Art and Soul. And I got so sold because I've been using resin for about 20 years off and on. And bubbles, you got these bubbles to deal with all the time. Well, I don't know, Rob, if you can get up on this and see. I mixed this 1 part resin to 1 part hardener, and there are no bubbles in this stuff. It's amazing. You just don't deal with a lot of bubbles. You get a little pour of it, and so you put it in a bezel. You're not going to have to mess with bubbles. If they come up, you can pinprick them out, or you can drill them out if it sets up by mistake and just pour a little more. Whatever. It's great stuff. A lot less work. Non-yellowing, non-toxic. Won't make you sick. But anyway, I mix up my ice resin, and you got to do it 1 part to 1 part carefully, and do it in a 70 to 72 degree environment so it will cure properly. And here you go. This is already starting to set up a little bit because I've had it sitting here for too long. But anyway, this will give you the idea. You just spread it on. This is getting glurpy, so it's been sitting here too long. But you just, just put it on. Just dab it on like this. And to give you an idea, because this is just getting a little too tacky, we've had to do several takes on this because I'm not great at making videos. But anyway, here's some that we've done. This one was done a little bit ago, maybe an hour and a half ago. We did this one, and I just dabbed it on with the sponge paint brush till I got a thin layer. If you want another layer, go back and do it again, provided it's not setting up for you. Boy, I wish I had some watch parts to throw down in there. It'd make me a cool altered art thing. I don't know what I'd name it, but it would. Here's another one. It's all been coated, just use the sponge brush. Here's one that I did a couple of weeks ago, and it's just hard as nails, just like the old hard glass enamel. And there's a lot of things about ice resin you could do. You could put some oil paint down in there and color it, and you could just paint with that then if you wanted. But I kind of like the acrylic because I want to mix it up and get my tie-dye effect. And another thing too, I wanted to mention to you, American-made brass stampings that have a hole in them. They call them swedge holes. We call them rivet holes. But the toolers call them swedge holes. They're usually 3/32 size. Or it could be, sometimes they call it .095. There's a bunch of ways to describe it. Rivets are a science all to themselves. I don't quite get it yet, but this I do get. You just need a little nail head rivet. This is a copper one, pure copper one. We sell them at the site. All you do is layer the pieces. You can usually get about 3 on here, like that. And then I might want to do this little sprig in the middle, so I'll put that one on. Now this one is a little small, so I'm going to have to turn my Dremel on and drill this hole out a little bit more. So just take it on there and wiggle it. Now this is a wood surface, so that's okay. Don't get this in my resin. Now my hole should be a little bit bigger. It should fit on there just right, and it does. Success! So now what I would do is I would take this, I lost my rivet, but anyway, I would take this and put it on the bench block, and I would give it a good whack, which I'm not going to do because we're going to run out of time. But basically, this goes on top of here, and you take your, and dead straight whack it. I would probably want to stand up to it. Dead straight whack it. On metal, not wood. You do it on wood, you're going to have it loosey-goosey, you're going to be prying it out. You're not going to like it. Even as it is, you got to be careful you hit it straight on, and don't get it crooked, because you might not like it. But in this case, you're probably going to set a little stone and put a little pearly over top of it anyway to finish your brooch, so you'll be good. But anyway, that's pretty much how it works, and I wish my resin hadn't already started to set up, but it's a wonderful product, and it's good for about an hour of use, and we've been at this, like I say, for about an hour and a half, so it's starting to, set up for me. That's why it's sticking a little bit. But it's fabulous stuff. We have kits at the site. You can try it there. It's available a number of places, so wherever you get it and try it. Use it over top of your acrylic, and you'll have that beautiful hard glass look. In about 8 hours, it'll be good enough to touch. 3 days, hard as glass, and ready to make jewelry from it. So I do hope you'll try it. You'll have a good time, and come back to me and ask me any questions you like. That's why I'm here. So have a great time and have fun.